Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be an interesting video for me because I've had such an off day and I need to film and edit this so that I post something. We're about to go on a little trip, which will be fun, but what an off day. Our fridge broke, so all of our food has perished and we don't have a replacement yet because that's like, you know, money cash. And then what else happened? Oh, and then I ordered lunch today because again, my food is perished, so there's limited things that I'm able to cook without dairy that was in the fridge. So I ordered food, which never showed up. It's been a very off day. I'm having a rough one today. So hopefully this video at least can go smooth for us and we can just hang out and chit chat. Today we are going over my Romantasy bingo board and the picks that I have. I'm aiming for hard mode like I do with every bingo. We're gonna try and get hard mode to the best of our abilities. Obviously the more I read the better I'll know what suits everything, but this is kind of my tentative TBR as well as like a couple recommendations or things that I'm also planning to read and might, you know, swap in and out. I am in my Romantasy era, as you would say. I have been really enjoying a Cassidy recommendation. By the way, yes, Cassidy is the one who made this bingo for us. Thank you, girl. I'm adoring it so far. But Covers with Cassidy made this bingo. Covers with Cassidy is also the one who got Air Awakens like first on my radar. Was the first and maybe one of the only booktubers I've really seen talk about that series multiple times. And always been on my radar. And I'm eating it up. I'm obsessed. So if I could get books 2 through 5 in this somehow, I'll do it. I'm freaking obsessed. I'm having such a blast with it. So that's a series that's ongoing for me that I'm like eating up. I really want to get to the sequel of Anathema, preferably. There's a lot of new releases that are going to be coming out soon. So there's just like so much in the Romantasy space that I'm just excited about. So let us talk about what I'm planning to read as well as maybe a couple of things that might pop up here and there. But the first prompt for us is a new release by a debut author, and I will be reading, I actually have this one. I have very few books around me at this current moment, but the first one that I will be reading will be Immortal Consequences by L.V. Marie. I really want to get to this. This has trials. It's an academic setting, so if you're wanting a prompt for that later on, this will also work for it. But this is a debut by a Latinx author, Peruvian mother and Chilean father, and she was born in Miami. So we have a Latinx author if you're trying to fulfill that. I know this follows a lot of characters. I've heard some mixed things about this, but I'm still pretty excited. This is young adult though, so do note that. The next prompt is Hidden Identity, hard mode, not royalty. Technically, okay, bear with me. Now technically, A Song of Shadows and Starlight by Morgan Gauthier. Technically, she has a hidden identity that is not her royalty. Like, she is a princess. She is royalty. But technically, her hidden identity is not related to that. Like, it's completely separate. It's a different type of hidden identity. I think you could probably swing it so that you could count this as this prompt for hard mode. I think you could get away with it. So, tentatively, I have the sequel, A Ballad of Beasts and Brothers here, because in this, she has to, like, learn more about magic, and is, like, doing, like, an academic setting of some sort, but still has to hide her identity throughout the book, and we have to learn so much about her identity, because we ourselves, her, the main character, none of us know who she is, what's going on. There's a lot of questions that we need some answers to, and I'm really looking forward to it. I love the first book so much. It's technically a Rapunzel retelling, but there's no like long magical singing hair or anything, but it gave very strong Tangled vibes, and it was one of my favorite reads of recently as well as Air Awakens. So like those two things, oh, wherever I could possibly squeeze those in, that is my plan. Another tentative recommendation I have, I am doing a reread of the series soon, but the first book is Bow Before the Elf Queen. I really enjoyed this. The narration is told in a duet style, and I really enjoyed the audiobooks. I have been a JM girly because of this series. The fourth and final book just recently came out. I can't wait to read it, but I want to do a whole reread of the series since we're not going to get an audiobook for a little bit, just based off things getting pushed and whatnot. So I'm not rushing into the series, but I am very excited for this, and I've loved these first 3 books. The third book feels very Vampire Diaries, like later seasons, so just like be wary of that. If you vibe with it, you'll vibe with it, but if I'm remembering correctly, and sometimes I get Bow Before the Elf Queen and a Crown of Oaths and Curses, their setups are kind of similar in my brain because I love them both so much and I read them around the same time, but Bow Before the Elf Queen, I don't remember. So you know what, disregard. She's not royalty, I remember that. But I can't remember. I think she's hiding her identity and then she gets found. I don't remember though. The next prompt is take down the system with a dystopian book. I am not really a big dystopian girl. I know like there's an uptrend for this, so there might be more that come out that might suit my fancy better. So I guess I'll be reading Broken Dove, which is the sequel to Silver Elite, which I didn't like. I had a lot of issues with it, but I still had fun with it. It was like a low 3 stars. I didn't hate absolutely everything. I think there was some bad decisions. I think it was a rip-off of a lot of things. It was very influenced by a lot of popular stuff, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I had struggles with it. But I'm still interested in the series, so like it wasn't that bad. So I couldn't give it 2 or anything. So I think just because of this prompt especially, and because I'm a booktuber and so I want to stay on top of the trends, I'm definitely going to pick up Broken Dove. So I guess that's going to be my pick. Next prompt is a BIPOC author with flowers on the cover. I know a lot of people are going to be reading Our Vicious Oaths, which, you know, if the reviews keep coming in positive, I would definitely be interested in picking that up. I tentatively put down King of Battle and Blood. This is by Scarlett St. Clair, I think. She is an Indigenous author. She also wrote Terror at the Gates, and I don't remember if that has flowers on it, but that might also work. But yeah, she's an Indigenous author, though she does not write necessarily from an Indigenous perspective. They're not Indigenous romantasy books. I know, like, Terror at the Gates is a white woman. I don't remember what... I haven't read it, so how would I know? But the King of Battles and Blood, I'm not sure exactly. The next prompt is blank of blank, and it's not a fae book. So I went with the vampire book, which is Lord of Ruins. I will be reading this very soon, actually, so I'm trying to read these, you know, sooner than later. I'm trying to read all the romantasy I can, but I will be reading this. This is the sequel to Mistress of Lies, so the first book would still work. It's following vampires, and it's, I want to say, yeah, it's poly. You have a trans mass character. It's very inclusive and diverse, which I really appreciate, and it's just like a very interesting world. I really enjoyed the world when I read it last year, maybe 2 years ago, and I started Lord of Ruin, and it's taking me like a hot second to get back into it, but I am excited to eventually pick this up. The next prompt is indie to trad publish pipeline. Basically, traditionally published their books, and then at some point it got picked up, and the hard prompt is a sequel. So the first thing I put down was The Wrath of Dragons, which is the sequel to Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, which I recently read. And so I was like, cool, I want to read that. I think the third book is going to come out in 2026, so I was like, I might as well get on it. But my other one is this chunker. Oh my god, do you see that? A brick. Kingdom of Claw by Demi Winters. This is the sequel to Road of Bones. I also have Dawn of the North, which is the third book in this series that comes out next year. This is going to be a 5-book series. I don't know if that includes the 2.5 novella in between, but that also exists. I really want to continue. My best friend loves this series, and so I'm like, I feel bad that I'm behind. I would like to get caught up. She's just intimidating because she's so chunky, but I really enjoyed the first book. If you don't mind a traveling the roads, found family, getting into dangerous situations because they're on the road, might be for you. If you don't love a travel book, the destination might do it for you, but it's kind of going to be hit or miss about that. But I really like the characters. I like the way that the first book really did not fulfill the expectations you have going into it. Like, it sets up, I guess you could call it a love triangle. And I'll say the ongoings of that I was surprised by. Moving on to Rep Matters by an own voice author. I have to easy mode. Sorry, everybody. I haven't finished Onyx Storm, so like it's the perfect fit. It like absolutely goes here. What can you do? I need something to hold me accountable to get this freaking book read. I'm enjoying my time, but it's so easy to put down and like pick up other things for whatever reason. So I don't know if it's just like I'm delaying the process because we don't get the next book until 27. I don't know what it is, but that obviously works. I also have A Dance of Lies on my TBR for this just because I know that has disability rep, and that was like a big promotion of the book as well, so I'm intrigued by that. But I'll need to look into if the author is an own voice with the same disability and whatnot. And then we have starting a new series with an author who writes in multiple genres. I'm going with Karina Halley. I feel like she makes the most sense for this prompt. She writes in romance. She kind of writes like horror romance too, if you want to like count that. And then obviously Romantasy. So tentatively I have River of Shadows. This will also work for Blink of Blink. And I don't think these are fae. I think this is her Greek God series. I don't remember. But I've enjoyed some Karina Halley. I've disliked others. She's quite the mixed bag for me, but she does write in multiple genres. So I'm like, okay, easy, done. I would like to read more just to see how it goes. And then we've got Urban Setting. in a secondary world. City of Gods and Monsters is a 4, soon to be eventually 5 book series, so that on a platter for you if you're interested. I thought it was so-so, but a lot of people do enjoy it and say that the series gets better after the first book, but it'll work for this. Also, House of Bane and Blood. I read the first book, but I need to read the sequel. So my pick for this is City of Mirth and Malice. I don't know anything about the second book. Like, I don't remember totally where we left off with the first one. I might have to do a little bit more of a refresher. This is my pick. It's very urban fantasy. I'm like 99% sure it was a secondary world. It's been a hot minute. So I don't remember fully, but I'm pretty sure it counts. I'm excited to jump back into it. I would say Marriage of Convenience with a Reluctant Allies to Lovers situation for a later prompt if you're needing one. I think you could probably swing it to work for that. And then the prompt that I really am unsure about, I'm struggling with, Ghosts and Ghouls. Hard mode, the love interest is one. Girl, we all read Phantasma already. I'm like sure book 3 will come out in 26, but like I don't have a guarantee on that yet. So I'm concerned that maybe we won't, and then I'll be sad. But I think the third book would work really well. The Wicked Fates series? So that's tentative. I have right now Exquisite Ruin, which people aren't liking. Cassidy DNF'd it. A lot of people aren't saying positive things. I just love the Owl Crate cover so much, and I really like the idea of magical labyrinths. I don't know, but there's also the amnesia trope, which I don't like, so I'm gonna try it. We'll have to wait and see how that one goes. I'm nervous about it, but tentatively that's like my best bet, unless we get the third Phantasma book, and that will work for it. So it's kind of like I'm waiting. Hopefully more people will have more recommendations for some ghosts and ghouls that I can pick up throughout the year. And then we have my favorite, which is not quite telepathy because it's just a voice in your head and it could be anything. But the hard mode is that it should not be an animal companion. I know we're all screaming and gagging for it, but Brimstone, I don't know what's happened to me. I read Quicksilver and I was like, yeah, it's good. I didn't think it was like the best thing ever. I got the hype. I could see the valid complaints. Like, I can see both sides of the party quite fairly, but somehow I've ended up in the, oh my god, I cannot wait for the second book. I'm so obsessed with this series. Like, girl, I gave it 4 stars, but somehow I'm sitting here as if I gave it 5 stars and reread it 3 times and it's my favorite thing ever. Like, I don't know what's happened in this period of time where I finished the book and the new release coming out. Like, I've just suddenly been like, best thing ever. Oh my god. Like, I don't know if it's like tinted sunglasses, like the pink haze. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm excited for Brimstone. I hate the cover. I think it's atrocious. I really would like somebody to give us something nicer than this, but until then, it's fine, because I don't plan to own the series, but who knows, at this point I might. Oh, and then the Cassidy prompt, which is a friend recommendation from Cassidy's channel. Could I consider Cassidy a friend? Sure. I would argue I could. So I have 2 picks for this. The first one, which would be like a proper friend recommendation, because a lot of my friends have read this and like want me to read it, even though they think I'm gonna hate it, Zodiac Academy. But also, if I'm considering Cassidy my friend, because we have mutuals, we've done readathons together, we've talked. I adore Cassidy, I'm obsessed, so why not? Cassidy gave Arcana Academy 5 stars. I want to read it so bad. I'm so excited for it. Because of Cassidy, I am kind of obsessed with Elise Kova, so I think it only makes sense that because her recommendation, I continue my love of this author, and I'm really excited. This is like tarot magic, and that's kind of all I know. I think also a school setting where you like go to a school to learn how to make tarot cards, because like ink magic is forbidden unless you're at that special school. I just love the concept. I cannot wait. And then we've got a BookTok hyped book, which I'm not on BookTok. I don't touch it. It scares me. I don't see a lot of like the popular stuff. I kind of just go based off what BookTube is telling me is popular. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but the City of Gods and Monsters, I'm pretty sure, is popular on the TikTok. And because this is still an independently published series, I'm going to count the second book, City of Soul and Sinners, as my pick. Because I plan to read it anyway. I spent it for my November TBR, so like it's already going to happen. Might as well make it work for me, you know? This next one, I need you guys to let me know if this book properly counts, because I haven't read it, so I'm not sure. But we have a forbidden romance that's not enemies to lovers. I think Blood Mercy. I believe that this is I want to say like Marriage of Convenience, very political, intrigue heavy, but I don't think that there are enemies in it. But I do think it's forbidden because of one of them being human, one vampire. I'm not really sure. So if anybody knows that for certain, that'd be really helpful for me. But that's tentatively what I have right now is Blood Mercy. And then the next one, which again, it's nice that I'm behind on the readings of the popular stuff because everybody's read Direbound. I have not. Direbound, an academic setting with trials because you have to find your bonded because they're werewolves. Have people told me I'm not going to like this because of the many pop culture references that will take me out of the story? Yes, people have mentioned that to me, but it's in the Goodreads Choice Awards. A lot of people are really liking it. Everyone says that it's basically Fourth Wing, but with wolves. I gotta try it. If I read Silver Elite, I should read Direbound. It just makes sense to me. So I will be picking this up for this prompt. But if you need another recommendation, Iron and Embers, if you've already read The Legend of Thesmar, I would recommend that series first. Love that series. One of the best series ever. It's so good. But Iron and Embers is an academic with trials. It's not as good as Legend of Thesmar, if you ask me, but I will be continuing and hopefully finishing out the series because it's just a trilogy. Hopefully I'll be finishing that out before December. I'll be picking up Thorns and Fire soon, so hopefully that will go well. But I don't know if that's going to have trials or even that much of an academic setting, so I don't want to recommend beyond the first book. Ooh, next we have 2+ love interests. And hard mode is that it's not a love triangle, which I can't complain with. I tentatively have Bonded by Thorns, but I also think Jay Bree's series, you know the one, it's on the screen. I also think that would count if I'm remembering correctly, and I'd really like to get into that series, as I don't think Jay Bree will be coming back with a third book for A Crown of Oaths and Curses. I think that series is done. I think the bad PR for the second book. I just don't think it's going to happen, and I'm okay with that. I would like to leave the first book as a standalone and just pretend the second book barely happened. But I would like to check out her other completed series just to see if I do vibe with more of her work, because a lot of people enjoy it. These next two, count them two, I have actually already read. Thank you. Thank you. So we have Single POV published 5 years or more, and I read Fire Falling, of course, by Elise Kova. These came out in 2015. And oh my god, dude, they hit. They hit so hard. They are so good. For being 10 years old, perfection. This is how you write a young adult romantasy. Even like it not being young adult. It's just done so well. It hits so hard. It's so good. Really enjoy it. The other one is a court setting with an animal on the cover, and I read Heavenly Bodies, the first book that I read in the month of November, so that one counted. I'm on hold for the sequel, so we'll see how that goes. The ending was interesting, but the beginning of Heavenly Bodies, so. And then we have A Whole New World, reimagining or retelling. I have Guild put down for this, which is Raven Kennedy or something, and it's the first book in like 5-book series. I often get it confused with Marissa Meyer's Gilded duology, so we're gonna try not to do that, but I feel like a lot of things could work for this. Like, again, if you're interested in a song of Shadows and Starlight, these ridiculous long titles of Romantasy, I think will need to stop at some point. But that would work for this if you're interested. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, I'm excited to dive into Guild. Everyone says the first book, not great, but the series gets better, so I think I'll hold out some hope for the series and I'll try to continue it. And then we have Reluctant Allies to Lovers with A Marriage of Convenience. This is hard. This is a really hard pairing, I noticed, so I'm a little bit hesitant, but I have A Kingdom of Shadow and Ash. I cannot tell you a damn thing about this. I think I stole this from Cassidy's video. I know nothing about it. The cover looks cool. We're gonna call it there. My favorite prompt, maybe, one word title, Gothic. I have to read Eldritch. We already talked about it at the top of the video. I'm so excited for Eldritch. I need an audiobook stat. The fact that nobody is talking about it. Why do authors not communicate with us and say like, hey guys, just so you're aware, this is gonna happen later in the production. Like, please update me. Why do I have to join every mailing list just to be told, no, I won't have an audiobook for another year? Why don't you tell me? Why? Drives me crazy. This is a 700+ page book. You think I can just read that with my eyeballs on top of the other 40 books I'm reading right now? No, but I do think I might do a reread of Anathema. I mentioned and got a request for doing a plot recap of Anathema, but I'm gonna be honest, I might hold off until we get closer to the third book coming out, just because Eldritch will take me a while to read during end of year. Like, we've got Goodreads going on, we've got best of the years, all of these things happening, so I just don't think it's gonna happen in the next 2 months, so it's getting pushed out anyway. Sorry. Okay, we have A Shifter Romance with anything but werewolves or wolves in general. I'm pretty sure that Slang the Shifter Prince is not a wolf. He looks quite cat-like in the fan art that I've seen. So I'm really praying that he's actually more cat tiger-esque than he is a wolf. And therefore he will count for my shifter romance. Because there's not a lot of like shifter romances that I'm like so eager for. I'm sure there might be some dragon ones on KU that I could probably pick up, but it's not my go-to subgenre in Romantasy. And then we have Weapon on the cover with a powerless main character. Initially, I put down The Veiled Kingdom because there's little swords on the cover. I don't know a lot about the series except for I really want to read it and have for a very long time. And so that's why I put it here. Pretty sure there's no magic from our main girly. But then I remembered that The Tempest Blade is out on Audible. So sorry to everybody who is not an Audible member. I simply keep it around just for Danielle L. Jensen. I really enjoy her Bridge Kingdom series. And we just got the conclusion to the third duology. It's very confusing. There's 3 sets of duologies, and we just got the third duology wrapped up. So I'm really excited to listen to that. I might have to do a little bit of a recap of the last one because it's been a hot minute, but I do appreciate that Danielle Jensen like has this weird Amazon contract where we get the audiobook 6 months before the actual physical book comes out. I can't complain because I really like the series. And then we have the final prompt, a chunky series, 4 or more books, and it needs to be an interconnected series somehow. I am going with, I have 2 options. One, we have Married to Magic, which is the Elise Kova series, which are standalones in a world together. But I also have Wicked, Ugly, Bad, which I've never heard anyone talk about it. I was looking up for retellings and I saw this and I said, that actually might be up my alley. So I've tentatively put that on there as well. We'll see. It looks a little campy, it looks a little silly, but I think it might be fun at the same time. So that is also what I have. And then just like to round us out, other things that I'm planning to read that might not actually fit for any of these. We've got Starside, which is Alex Astor's adult romantasy book coming out. The sequel to When the Moon Hatched is coming out in April. We have the sequel to Shield of Sparrows coming out, my first pre-order of 2026. Oh my goodness. It's all happening so fast. So there's like so many romantasy books that I also am planning to read that may or may not work throughout. So these might change, you know, everything's subject to change for TBR. So I'll just have to wait and see like what I read and what works. But this is kind of what I'm aiming for. Oh, I completely skipped one. I completely skipped the first person new to you author. I'm so sorry. That was so rude of me. First person by a new to me author. I had to put Divine Tides on here because I am mutuals with this author on Instagram. I follow their BookTube channel. I've been a fan from afar. I've been supportive. I know nothing about this. I'm not paid, not sponsored, no ARCs, no nothing. I didn't want to sign up for the ARC team, but this is a chunkier book. It's on Kindle Unlimited though, and I'm very intrigued. It's told in, I think, dual perspective. Both, I believe, will be in first person. I have not read beyond the first page. But I'm really excited, and I love supporting, like, not only small indie authors, but, like, friends, like, mutuals, like, people that I know, kind of, sort of. That it's, like, really cool to see them, like, do that. Because that's really a lot of work, and really hard, and really cool. So I wanted to shout that out as well. So sorry I completely spaced that. That was so bad on me. But that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I will see you guys when I get back from my little trip with my next reading vlog. Bye!